Broads Media.
Come on, man. You're losing to the Pistons. You're getting destroyed by the Pistons. This organization is a flat-out embarrassment, and as the days go by, they somehow piss me off more than they did before, and I didn't think that was humanly possible. I thought we honestly already hit that point where they are an abysmal piece of shit, and yet somehow they're getting worse as the days go on. There's so much to attack here. You got the Shams report, then you got the Shams audio from when he did a hit on ESPN. Nick Nurse has no clue that the Sixers were even fined, or he was lying, and he damn sure did know. But the whole situation publicly is a nightmare. This blows. This blows. They actually had a chance, potentially, to grab us back. Meaning, when they signed Paul George, some of us dipped our toes back into the water. Now, probably because we had no other choice. But you bring in someone like Paul George after Joel Embiid on a national stage stared at him and did a little wink, wink, nod, nod, come on over to Philadelphia. And how does Joel Embiid reward that man? By going to the Olympics, knowing that he was banged up, not putting the best interest in the Sixers, who's paying him a boatload of cash, and essentially flipping Paul George the double bird, flipping the Sixers fans the double bird, and it's really disappointing. Extremely disappointing. They had a chance to potentially swing us, and all they needed to do was make sure Joel Embiid was prepared for day one. So whether that falls on the Sixers organization, whether that falls on Joel Embiid himself, obviously it's a mix between both. But we should never be in the position we are in right now. And it's getting uglier as the minute moves forward. And that's nearly impossible considering how ugly it is. Yo, they just lost to the Pistons and it wasn't even competitive. Like, they just got beat up by Tobias Harris and the Pistons, and they are down by double digits in the fourth quarter. Tobias got booed, but in reality, the Sixers should have been insanely crucified by every fan that decided to go to that game. And look, I don't blame some of them because for a little bit of time, there was some optimism that that would be the game where Joel Embiid makes his return. Of course, that wasn't the case, and allegedly, we will get some sort of update on Friday on where the two stand, but it's really not about that. It's about the principle at this point. It's about, just the thought of ever putting the fans in the situation that they put them in. Shame on you. Shame on you. That is kicking people in the testicles, pointing right at their face and laughing. Evil laughing. And maybe even spitting on them too while they're down and out. While the testicles feel like they're sitting in your stomach and you can't move due to the sharp pain. That's what Joshua Harris did. That's what Joel Embiid did. And I'm starting to get really flustered with Joel himself. Because you got to know better. Look, there's a lot of players who played in the Olympics who are good to go and working out very well in the beginning stages of this season. LeBron James, there's guys that play in the Olympics and are good. Hey, most of them. So just from a very simple view, I don't have an issue if one of my stars wants to compete in the Olympics and be around those type of winning guys, be around people who have lifted the Larry O'Brien trophy and winners in their respected sport. I think that could be a good thing. What you need to do, though, is weigh where you are physically, weigh what this means for your offseason, and when you go through a meniscus injury, you get surgery, you come back as quickly as you can to make a postseason run for the Sixers. You get an extension, all this stuff happens in the offseason, which doesn't happen overnight. I think it was pretty apparent that he was going to get that money. So that was on his radar, regardless on if it happened before, after, whenever it went down. That was already properly discussed that we're going to get you that cash, right? So knowing where your body was physically, to then take a calculated risk to play in the Olympics anyway, that's where it doesn't sit right with me, because it seems like he thought that was more important than his body being available for his team. It's not more important. If it's in addition to, fine. But the number one priority has to be the 76ers, the team that is willing to cut you that check. And if you're going to do something that will destroy your readiness and your availability, that can't happen. So knowing where he was from a physical standpoint, the fact that he still made the decision to go out there and put himself in harm's way when he wasn't really supposed to be doing that right then and there, that's where I'm more aggravated about it. And yeah, I'm starting to change my tone on the Olympics thing more and more. I'm starting to actually despise it way more than I did maybe a few weeks ago or at the time of it. Because this is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. And here is an update. I want to read for you when the whole fines went down, what was going on in my brain. So on October 29th, as it's Halloween, happy Halloween, everybody, Shams tweeted out, the NBA has fined the Philadelphia 76ers $100,000 for public statements around the health status of all NBA center Joel Embiid, sources tell ESPN. Then he quote tweets that tweet and says, sources said the NBA's investigation showed that the Sixers did not violate player participation policy with Embiid's missed game, but in fact, with the public comments that did not properly reflect his health issues with his knee, indicating that it wasn't as if the Sixers lied. He's not playing for a reason, because there was speculation that they strictly are resting him. And he is good to go. He does have the 2 thumbs up from the medical staff, but they are holding him back because they want him well rested and not beat up for games that they don't value in October and November, early in the 82 game schedule. Well, comes out that there's a problem, there's a knee issue, and they are still going through that process with him on a physical note. But here's the kicker. That same day, Shams did a hit on SportsCenter. Take a listen to what he had to say on the same day. Here it is.
Some light at the end of the tunnel. He has participated in multiple 5-on-5 scrimmages in recent days, including today. So that is tangible progress moving forward for Joel Embiid. We're still not sure when exactly he'll be back, but he is practicing to the extent of 5-on-5 scrimmaging.
Now, here's what bothers me about this. Oh, hold on. Supposed to be up by now. Did a damn good job. Oh, did I do a damn good job getting up nice and early. What I'm reading is, and look, I'm just speculating, but I know how some of this stuff goes. I believe that Shams was given the information by the Sixers that they were fined. You can report this. Breaking news. Sixers star center, blah, 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 blah. Sixers fined, blah, 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 blah. But what you then need to do is go on SportsCenter and tell the world that this thing is trending in the right direction. That he is now scrimmaging, because just days ago, Nick Nurse said, I had no idea. Excuse me, not that he had no idea. Something just popped up on my screen. That he had no idea about the fine. But Nick Nurse was saying that he's not doing any scrimmaging yet. He's not doing 5-on-5 stuff yet. So the same day that it pops up, he actually isn't injured. Damn it! This team is pissing me off! Let me hit the reset. Boop. Okay. The same day that Shams brings up that there actually is an injury with him is the same day that, hey, look, everybody, look over here. It is trending in the right direction, and he finally is taking the basketball and at least practicing with his team's scrimmages. He's with his team's practices. Something doesn't add up for me. That smells fishy. It smells to me that Shams was given X, Y, and Z to report as long as he gave X, Y, and Z to report. And I don't know to what extent 5-on-5 means. I highly doubt that all of a sudden this dude is drenched in sweat. He's got his pivot foot down and he's operating at a high clip 5-on-5 just seconds after he hasn't done anything of that caliber yet. Like, there's no way he's close when it's that level of an extreme that now all of a sudden he's running up and down the floor. He's working at 100%. He's putting in that work. He's grinding and he's doing everything in his power to be in the best condition possible for him to take the court for the first time. I doubt that that's where we stand with Embiid, sort of like the vision that's being laid out would indicate. I hate that we're here. I hate it. There's real games being played, and it's barely watchable. Now, I'm a sicko that's watching, but it's barely watchable. Eric Gordon, Caleb Martin, Kelly Oubre, it's too much. They were brought in here for a specific role. They were brought in here to be complementary pieces to the stars. And I can't even see the damn stars. At least the Paul George injury we saw happen in the preseason. And now I'm watching beat reporters show videos of him after shoot around, dribbling the ball, working on his handle, getting back on track. Anybody see Embiid? I saw Embiid once. It was when the camera was right by his feet and they said, look at Joel Embiid on opening night on ESPN, and then he tied his hoodie as tight as possible and was kind of hiding and shying himself away from the spotlight. Very opposite of the normal Joel Embiid experience. I'm a Joel Embiid guy. But this whole thing is leaving such a sour taste in my mouth that nobody gets off free. Nobody gets off without blame. And it felt like a very selfish move from Embiid. This whole thing was avoidable. It really was. And the word avoidable, it triggers something because there are some fans that look at the $100,000 fine and think to Joshua Harris, who owns the Commanders, owns the Sixers, owns the Devils, and dips his toes in a billion other things. What is $100,000 doing to him? That's sort of like a penny to us. And while, yes, when you look at the grand scheme of things, I would agree with that. It doesn't hit his pockets extremely harsh as 6 digits would for most normal Americans. One, it's still a lot of money. But two, it's a very avoidable fine. Very affordable, a very avoidable fine. And affordable for them, but avoidable. The way I lay it out is like this. If I have to bring my truck in to the shop, I know diddly squat dick about cars. All right, I got a truck. You tell me X, Y, and Z is happening with the truck. I say, okay, I have to trust you because I don't know any different. So I'm probably getting screwed and boned on some of this stuff. But anyway, I bring the truck in and they say, hey, you need a new this, you need a new that. I say, damn, that's more money than I would like to spend, but there's a reason why I have this in my savings. I don't really have any other alternative. I got to spend this type of money. It is what it is. If I want to be safe in my vehicle, I'm bringing my family in my vehicle, I'm traveling with the baby, I need to make sure I'm doing what's best for my family. I don't want to spend, it wouldn't be $100,000, but equivalent to their $100,000 to me. I wouldn't want to spend it, but I have to. Fine. You bite the bullet and you do it. But if they told me that I had to do it because of something so stupid that I did wrong, that was very avoidable, all you had to do was change your words. All you had to do was say something different. Saying something different costed you 6 digits. I do think there's something to be said about being aggravated if you're ownership with writing that specific check due to the circumstances, which also ties another interesting angle to this whole thing. Mike O'Connor does an amazing job covering the Sixers for the rights to Ricky Sanchez. And I'll read you the exact, I think I bookmarked it, but if I didn't, then it won't be the exact terminology, but it doesn't necessarily need to be. Okay, I did bookmark it. So he goes and says this: I don't actually know the reason why the Sixers are always so vague and weird in communicating injury statuses. Some people have speculated that it's because Embiid wants it that way, and they may be right. But if that's the case, somebody high up in the organization needs to be an adult. Sit down with him and tell him that they're not going to do things this way anymore. It's completely bizarre and doesn't help anyone, especially not him. And obviously, it's costing the Sixers a lot of money. So it brings awareness to, is Joel Embiid the one that is telling the organization it must go down this way? I am not a big fan on how I'm viewed. I'm not a big fan of how people talk about me with my injury status. We are going to hide this, whether you like it or not, whether you're a fan of this or not. This is how we are going to do it because I demand it, and I'm the one that earns the money around here, and I'm bringing in the tickets. I'm bringing in all of the jersey sales. This is how it's going to go. And it brings it back to, if you're getting fined because of that person and the way he wants to control it, at what point does Joshua Harris be like, yo, Joel, I love you. I hate to break it to you. I cut your checks. It's not happening like this. It's just not happening like this. You can't cost me $100,000 because you're afraid to discuss your left knee issue. Discuss the left knee issue. Sorry. In today's era, would anybody actually put their foot down to the high-profile athlete? I don't know. And I don't even know how much of this is Joel Embiid wanting to control the narrative. Maybe that's why he played in the Olympics anyway. Because if he won a gold medal, he wouldn't be labeled and viewed publicly as a loser. Look at my gold medal. Not that that really swings things for me, but maybe it does for him. And unfortunately, for us who would like to poo-poo that statement, while Team USA probably would win with that stacked roster anyway, they don't get to the gold medal game if it wasn't for Joel Embiid. So he did have a big hand in getting that squad to the finish line. And I don't know, maybe they fall prior to the gold medal game because it was that close and he was that dominant late. But it costed him. It sure did cost him. Hey, remember, they did play basketball. They played 4 games so far. I haven't been able to discuss anything basketball related. It's a disgrace. It really is a disgrace. All right, so we have some anytime hotline calls. We have some audio from Nick Nurse. I'll play the Nick Nurse audio first. I'll tell you a little bit about my friends, and then we'll take your call. So this is a bizarre 1 minute and 30 seconds, and it's almost awkward. It's almost, you know, when you watch somebody do something, you know they're going through a tough time, and like you're embarrassed for them. I'm almost embarrassed for the Sixers. Not almost. I am embarrassed for the Sixers throughout this. Take a listen.
What do we need to know? What is the gap there? And what is to your knowledge, what is the reason that you guys were fined?
I didn't know we were fined. We were fined. That was made public. Yeah, I did. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, there's a press release that they said that your comments as an organization don't match, I guess, wherever Joel is. So I'm just trying to get from that place post-Olympics. You're happy he went. He's on schedule. He doesn't play. And the league says it's fine that he doesn't play. But we've never heard anything from August till now other than he's on schedule, everything's fine.
Yeah, I'm going to have to punt that one on you. You're going to have to ask Daryl or Dave or Elton or somebody that one.
Nick,
not you, like I said, I didn't even know we got fined yesterday.
Nick, why?
I got a game, several games to coach and lots of things going on.
Nick, why do you prefer not to address it as the head coach,
Get him, Howard.
the only voice for us here,
Get him,
for
Howard.
the public, and you prefer not to address these questions that people want to know about.
Well, I'm not the only voice.
You are now.
Well, today I am, but I'm here because we have a basketball game.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. That's brutal. And part of me wonders, does Nick Nurse really know what's going on? Because as he alluded, he does have games to coach. He's got to figure out rotations. He's got to figure out minutes. He's got to figure out, what he wants to do based off of matchups. We go in small here based off what the other team has. Do we have to look maybe at a different option in the wing department? He does have to coach the basketball game, and whoever he's given, whatever recipes he's given for that given night, he's got to make the most of it. And that does take time and effort and focus. So I get that. The other part of me goes, dude, the Embiid stuff, you got to be desperately waiting outside of the offices every day saying, hey, how's Embiid? What's the update? What's the status? I need the big guy back. There's got to be more of that, I think, unless the timeline is so far away, he's not even close, that it's not even worth his time to be waiting outside the door of, I don't know, the trainer or something like that. And then also, when he says we were fined, I didn't even know we were fined. He then later says, I didn't know that was public. Now, was he inferring that he knew it was happening, but didn't know it was public? Or he literally had no clue they got fined in totality? Listen, the fact that this is how I'm starting these Sixers pods to start the year, I'm dissecting the head coach's words to try and figure out if he knows where Joel Embiid is even at physically or not, or where this organization stands right now. We're 4 games into the year, 4 games into the season, and that's what I'm trying to pick apart. It's extremely disappointing. It's a huge smack in the face, and it's a joke that the Sixers and Joel Embiid are even putting us into this mess. I do feel bad for Nick Nurse because he's got that look on his face like, holy hell, man, they are beating me down. They are beating me down. This isn't the Toronto media anymore where you can sit back and have Kawhi Leonard do whatever he wants to do because everybody's focused on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yo, Nick, I hate to break it to you. Nobody gives a damn about the Flyers. Now, it's unfortunate because I do. But I'm just saying, in regard to Joel Embiid's status, that is a main story, a staple of this city every single day. Eagles football, Joel Embiid's leg. Those are the most 2 important things right now outside of trying to figure out if the Phillies can snag Juan Soto from the New York Yankees. All right, so buckle up. Buckle up. And he's got the face of a man that is broken and defeated by this right now. And while you accepted this job and you took this job and you understood what came with it, it's not easy, but you can't show signs of breaking already. It's too early for this. We are just getting started. So once again, buckle up. Part of me feels bad because it does look like he's getting attacked and the franchise and Embiid is putting him in this position. But at the same point, that's what comes with the territory. That's what comes with taking this job. Yo, go talk to Doc about what it's like. Go talk to Brett Brown about what it's like. Go talk to anybody about what it's like. This is what it's like. This is what it's like. All right, hey. Before we take your phone calls, do you know what helps out misery and pain when it comes to the Sixers? Garage beer. Garage beer touching my lips is what makes me smile because my basketball team sure doesn't. 0% IPA, 100% light beer, which is just magnificent. 1,000% quality. There is no better light beer in the market, in the business, than Garage beer. When you go pick up a case and you go to your buddy's house, you go to your boy's house and you say, yo, what are we watching tonight? UFC fights, or maybe we're watching the Birds game Sunday afternoon. You walk in with that Garage beer, you're like a damn pop star, okay? You're like a damn attraction. It's the greatest beer on earth. DrinkGarageBeer.com. The link is down below in the description. And you can also Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Just want to throw that in there. We discuss Philly sports every day. You can take me on the road with you by going to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of your podcasting platforms. If you search Sports Talk with Broads, subscribe over there, leave a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the algorithm so much. So thank you all. You're the greatest in the world. Now let's listen to your phone calls on the Anytime Hotline.
Hey, Broads. I just want to call in about the Sixers. We're getting absolutely worked right now at home by the Pistons. Definitely embarrassing. I'm not going to rant at the play on the court, though, because we are not healthy. And I just hope this serves as a wake-up call to our front office that they need to get their shit together with this Embiid situation. I'm not really worried about Paul George because we saw the injury. It's unfortunate, but he's hurt, and shit like that happens over the course of an NBA season. But Embiid, man, from what I'm hearing, Embiid isn't hurt. And, they need to realize that, yeah, okay, we want him 100% fully healthy for the playoffs, but we can't have him arrive in the playoffs and not have any chemistry built up. And I think we got to get him in for at least 50, 60 games this year because we need to build chemistry as a team. We need to play as a team during the playoffs. And more importantly, we need to win enough games to get into the playoffs. And we need Embiid badly, okay? I look forward to seeing your thoughts.
I appreciate it, man. Now, here's the thing about he is injured, he isn't injured. For a while, I thought he wasn't injured. Now I'm starting to feel he is injured. And then there's also a part of me, though, that wonders if they are manipulating this where he's actually not injured. They make it seem like the left knee is a problem, even when it's not truly as big of a problem as they're indicating, so they can just load manage his way through the regular season. Do you follow? They're putting out this statement from Shams, and, the report was a little misleading, and he actually is hurt, but maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. And once again, the fact that I even have to play this game, the fact that I even have to juggle around to truly figure it out, because look, they're saying there's a update potentially coming at the back end of this week. If he is good to just go automatically and out of nowhere he's popping up and playing 40 minutes, then it straight up was a lie. And I almost wonder if it was a lie, then they had to manipulate things to make it look like not a lie. And then because of all the backlash, they're going to throw him out there and pretend like this whole thing wasn't a huge deal. If the reaction publicly wasn't as strong and wasn't as intense and wasn't as aggressive by the media trying to get answers, maybe they could wiggle their way through this longer. But because we demand answers and we deserve a certain product on the court, it's starting to get moved along quicker behind the scenes than they originally planned. Does any of this make sense? Is anybody following? Because I feel I'm jumping around all over the place, but that's what I have to do when none of the story adds up. They are giving us a bunch of crap, and I'm trying to dig through it, trying to dig through it as much as possible. And it's brutal. This isn't what I signed up for, damn it. I signed up for breaking down basketball, breaking down X's and O's, what this team does well, what this team doesn't do well, how they can work better on the glass, how they can get better pick and pop action, whatever it is. I didn't want to do this crap. Now, speaking of how many games he's going to play in chemistry, yeah, I value that a bunch. I value that big time, and I don't know if we're ever going to get the games. He's already not playing back-to-backs. I think I saw there's maybe 14, 17, I don't know, back-to-backs. I don't know if my math's all right. But if he doesn't play some of those, that means that's 7 games already missed off the 82. Now factor in that he missed the first 4 games, so that's 12 games of the season. Now he's down to 70 games. Is that math right? Dude, I don't know. I doubt he play 40 games. I'll put it at 40 games. This man's going to play 40 games this year. And how many of those 40 games is Paul George and Maxey both in the lineup? How many of those games is somebody who's a starter missing? So talk about cohesion. Are they going to get 20-something games? 25 games of the team intact? How many of those games are going to be when the deadline happens? So you play 20 of those 40 games before the deadline. Then you add a key contributor to your playoff rotation and to your playoff minutes after the deadline. You got to work him in. You got 20 games of the team prior to the deadline. 20 game, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Matt sucks. Matt sucks. Lack of cohesion, though. a problem. Just make sure that's your takeaway from that segment. Let's take the next call.
Rhodes.
Date night.
That was my wife. I took her out to the Sixers game. I'm not gonna say that we spent good money on this game because we didn't. The fees were more than the tickets. But after going to the game, I can definitely understand why. This team without Embiid and PG is just horrid. I mean, we just lost to the Detroit Pistons by a shit ton. I've got no idea what I just watched, and I was there for all 4 quarters. So I'm just this team. I don't know, dude. We got to get our stars back. Yeah, I don't know.
We sure do. Listen, what you can't do is allow their play to ruin date night. All right? That's one thing that I learned, maybe the hard way, maybe not, is when you take the wife out, all right, the game's secondary. Whatever's happening out there is secondary. Maybe that sounds ridiculous. Like, come on, dude. We wear this stuff on our sleeves. It's in our blood. We can't turn the switch off. But we can't let Eric Gordon, Kelly Oubre, Andre Drummond, Yabusele, and any of these cats ruin a couple of cold ones, a bunch of food, and maybe a little dessert. A little dessert late at night. You know what I'm saying? Unless the frustration boils, and that makes the dessert a little more exciting. Hey, however you do it, that's not my thing. But anyway. What did I want to... Oh, Tobias Harris. We'll end on this note. The Tobias Harris stuff. So he got booed, and he deserved a boo more than he didn't deserve a boo. Here's what I'll say about it, though. I almost feel what would have been more demoralizing for him, he obviously headed into the game thinking it's going to be a tough night, right? There's going to be a lot of boos. It's going to be harsh. Reacting as if he's not even worth your time could have stung more. Every time he touched the ball, boo, boo, boo. And I get it. It makes sense to boo him. That last year was as ugly as it gets. Now, some of the other years, at least there was a contributor involved. What the? My phone panels are falling off my ceiling. What the hell? What the hell? All right, we'll have to fix that anyway. Wrapping up the show. Holy hell. It scared the hell out of me. I thought it was going down. Where was I? Oh, the boo. He was expecting the boo. Now I'm all flushed. This episode's wacky. If you went not worth it, not worth my time, not even worth my energy, I think that could have stung more. But anyway, I was saying that the first few years, like he at least was a contributor. That last year, max contract player can't score a point in a playoff game, taking 2 shots in a playoff game. I mean, that's flat out unacceptable. I'll take 0 for 9 compared to just not shooting at all and being hesitant and having the yips and all that stuff. It was bad that final year. The fact he even played out all the contract here is disappointing in its own right. But imagine if he was expecting this harsh criticism, this crazy boo, and you just flat out didn't even care he was out there. I like that move more, but I digress. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. Appreciate you guys. Love you to death. I'd say go Sixers, but I don't mean it right now. Talk to you later.